Hello, welcome to part 5. I am working very slowly, going through these one resistor at a time, like I did with the capacitors, which is proving to take a lot longer than I wanted, but it is what it is. And I apologize for the air conditioner on in the background, but it's one of those hot as hell days here, so I know a lot of you are dealing with the heat as well. What was I going to say? Oh, the other reason why I'm going through these one at a time is just to remind everyone, this set is made in Canada. This is not a made in the United States set. So I'm coming across some individual components that don't match anything on the values that don't match the schematic or the parts list or the run changes documents. So, but what I am finding is components across here that don't match what's on the parts list are matching all the way up to run 7 on the changes list here. So the last one I changed was the 470, which is a that's not it. Let's see, R31. Okay, so down in here, R31, which is hidden by that cap there. That one was changed from a 470 to a 150, and that matches here on the run changes. And one of the things that one of the ones I came across was this R30. Let's see. R18 is listed as a 1.5 mega ohm on the parts list, and I believe R18. R18 on the changes list was changed from 1.5 to 1.8 in run 8, and that was in order to provide greater range on the height control. However, what I found in there was a 2.2 meg, so I replaced it with a 2.2 meg because that's what was in there. And my friend Dan asked me a question wondering if perhaps I thought that the components had been swapped out at some point, and I don't really think so, because as you guys saw, it did not look like any of those wires had been untwisted before. Maybe I didn't show any untwisting. It didn't look like any of the wires had ever been untwisted, and they pretty much most of them had about the same amount of slack. It didn't look like it was disturbed. Also, the pads down here were all pretty much even. There was no obvious solder blotches, or aside from the fact that a lot of times these guys like to blob a lot of solder on in general. And all of the component numbers, the Philco components, were matched, and nothing was clipped off the top. So I don't know, but again, I'm just kind of bucking this down to being a Canadian set. I do find it weird that my chassis is stamped run number 2, and incorporates changes all the way up to run number 8. So the only other thing I could try to do is look at when these components may have been made, but none of them have a date on them. None of these Canadian components have a date on them. And the tubes, as far as I could tell, it was at least on its second set of tubes, and those were dead. So I don't know. It's I can't really date when this was made. Of course, the I don't know if this makes any difference. I mean, it's a 10L40 board. It says 546994-2, which is the part number for the second version of this board. And the run number 2 stamped on the back could just be different because it's a Canadian run number 2. So I don't know. I really don't. You know, and now that I said that, I didn't realize, I didn't look at the cans, but the cans don't seem to have a standard date code on them. This one says BVJ9, but I don't know if that has anything to do with the date, and this one is EFI-9, so I don't know if that has anything to do with anything. Anyway, I'll stop going on about that. So let me go ahead and get more of this done, and I'll be back. Okay, I made it down to the end of the line, with the exception of a few items that were not the same on the schematic or the parts list. Number 50 here and number 51 here are 470K on the schematic, but both of these are 580, which is a bit of an odd number, and all I could find was 560, and I had to order them. And the same with this here, this 390 ohm 2 watt, which I didn't have any. I have 390s, but I don't have them in 2 watt. And this here, which is a 180K in 2 watts, and I didn't have that, and I'm bumping these up, so I want a 3 watt. And another one here is marked as 8.2 meg on the parts list, but it is a 3.9 on both the schematic, and that's what was in here, and all I had for those was a 3 watt, so that's a bit overkill, but the AGC should never go out. And this one here, this one, or did I miss one? 36 is what is that? 1, 2. 12 megs. There's two 12 meg that were not marked as 12 megs, or were they? They're for the distance, AGC for the distance switch. There's one here, and where did it go? It's right here somewhere. There were two 12 meg. Oh, it's here. So there was those two 12 megs, and anyway, so I had to go ahead and order a couple more. So plus I've depleted my stock, so I used that as an excuse. Tried to get I got it up to $12 since resistors are cheap. But anyway, so I'm gonna have to wait for that, so it'll probably be a good time to go visit the electrolytics on the chassis there. Another thing I was going to mention was Maybe I did. If so, sorry, I'm being redundant. These three capacitors, and we still have the chance that they're not going to be, they're not going to work out. And the only reason I say that is because I know, you know, these grounding points aren't all connected together as far as what goes on to the chassis. I mean, the chassis earth ground, so to speak, but anyway, I don't know if grounding these onto near some of these components is going to cause any problems. So I wanted to bear that in mind. So what I'm going to do is when we get this back together is I'm going to leave the wiring that goes across to the can that I've eliminated. Just in case, cross my finger, excuse me for yawning, it's 11, after 11. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and upload this video and let you know that that was just a heck of a lot of resistors here. You can see my pile off to the side. Yeah, so there's a good 45 of them in there. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.